Welcome back to the Welcome back to the TNT Podcast. Today we're going to be covering two cryptids as you just saw. The first cryptid is a return to the Vietnam rock apes. A few episodes ago when I got that big lucky number. We covered the rock apes of Vietnam and I mentioned we could cover the Minnesota Iceman later, and that's today. So, since I didn't get a very good rating on my last few, I got a 7 rating on the rock apes like I said, so I should be able to match that or better with this one. The story of the Minnesota Iceman appeared on an episode of television series you might know that I know you watch a lot called Unsolved Mysteries.
Like I seen that episode.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well then this should be familiar. Back in the 1960s, a man named Frank Hansen had the body of an ape man frozen in ice. He carried it to various sideshows as an exhibit and charged people for admissions. He claimed he wasn't the owner of the body, but he was entrusted to exhibit the body, which at the time he claimed was found in Siberia in a block of ice. In 1968, it was shown under the name of Cybersky creature. He later stated that it was found by a Russian SEAL hunting boats in the ocean, and still later, he claimed it was found by a Japanese whale hunting ship. He claimed a lot. He went to a lot of different people found it.
See, this handsome fellow have Alzheimer's, dementia, or just a bad memory?
Both.
Oh.
Hansen then claimed it had been purchased in a Hong Kong freezer, and finally he claimed it was shot during a hunting trip in Minnesota. That's when it acquired the name Minnesota Iceman.
How original.
When college student Terry Collins first observed the Iceman in the ice, he was immediately intrigued because of how real the animal appeared. He notified 2 scientists named Ivan Sanderson and Bernard Hevelsman.
So he sees this thing in a block of ice and he automatically knows it's real.
No, he said it looks real.
It looks real.
Sorry about my cough, I'm sick. The Iceman stood 6 feet tall, was completely covered in brown hair 3 to 4 inches long, and had large hands and feet. Its left forearm had been broken and tilted downward at an odd angle. One of its eyeballs was hanging out of its socket. The smell of decaying flesh could be smelled coming from the ice. Experts investigated the creature in the block of ice and determined the thing was most definitely a real animal.
Did they defrost it?
No, that would unpreserve the body.
Well, how else you gonna check him out?
Look at him.
Look at him through a block of ice.
Sanderson and Hevelsman soon got to the bottom of where the Minnesota Iceman originated. The creature had been shot by U.S. soldiers in Vietnam near Da Nang, that one, in 1966. It was concealed in a body bag and had flown back to the United States. This happened to be the place where Frank Hansen was stationed during the Vietnam War. A bullet had broken the bones in the left forearm near the wrist, causing its deformity, and another bullet had smashed into the side of the Iceman's skull, causing his eye to pop out of the socket, and that's what killed him.
So you saying you can kill a Sasquatch with a gun?
He's a living thing. He's still on it.
Well, let me tell you a story. My cousin Hunt, we'd go deer hunting, and he was terrified of Sasquatch, right? And I asked him one day, what would you do if a Sasquatch come out of the woods right in front of you? Would you shoot him? He said, no, I might make him mad. I said, you shoot him in the head with 30-06? Yeah, I'd make him mad, but there ain't going to be a whole lot he can do about it. He said, it might not even hurt him.
Depends on, how he works.
How he works.
This Iceman could be different than the other Sasquatches. Your cousin could be onto something here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sure. Be the first thing he was on to.
After examining the creature at Frank Hansen's home, both Sanderson and Hevelsman reported that the exhibit was a real animal, like I said.
Oh, yeah.
They believed it was one of the famed rock apes of Vietnam. It had a stocky body, its face was wide and flat, it had prominent brow ridges like a Neanderthal.
Say it again.
Neanderthal.
One more time.
Neanderthal.
Okay, thank you.
And a short upturned nose. They both were impressed by the size of this creature's hands compared to the rest of its body. They both could smell decaying flesh permeating from the ice. Its fingernails and toenails were yellow.
It sounds a lot like you. If you don't start cutting them toenails, yours is going to be long and yellow. You got to cut them more than twice a year, you know.
There were other reasons both men were sure this creature was real. It still had green vegetation in its teeth. There were parasites on its skin, like ticks and fleas or whatever.
It had green teeth.
Yeah.
That's another lesson to you. Girls don't like green teeth, so brush your teeth.
I don't think anybody likes green teeth.
What?
I don't think anybody likes green teeth.
Yeah, so you need to brush your teeth.
The FBI was soon notified that Frank Hansen was exhibiting a corpse, and out of fear that he might be arrested, the Iceman disappeared.
Vanished.
Yeah. Hansen claimed the original owner wanted the creature returned. However, Hansen soon reappeared with another block of ice containing an Iceman made out of latex. Everyone who had witnessed the original Minnesota Iceman stated that this was not the same exhibit, but a replacement.
So, see, this dude tells more lies than a politician.
Well, he thought he was
Can't
going.
believe what he says.
He thought he was going to get. He thought he was going to get arrested.
For carrying a Sasquatch around.
The latex version of the Iceman was sold on eBay in 2013 and is now exhibited in Austin, Texas at the Museum of the Weird.
They got anything about you in that museum?
It's funny. If the original Iceman
Just think. It was on
What?
eBay.
Yeah.
Just think I could have bought a rubber Iceman on eBay. Can't believe I missed out on that deal.
Well, you would have to get rid of it for me. It's made of latex.
What?
I'm allergic to latex, so you'd have to get rid of it.
I could get rid of you and keep the ape man.
You're so funny. If the original Iceman was fake, why would someone go through all the trouble of having bullet wounds to the arms and face? You know? Because they sorry.
Start to stutter, Joe.
They put all this extra work, you know, and they work really hard to make it look real. Both scientists stated that the hair came out of the skin, unlike most costumes with hair glued on. You go
know
through
what?
all
That's
this.
a good idea. My hair keeps getting thin. I'm gonna start gluing it back on. I tell you what, I could always get it off my butt. I got enough hair on my butt to weave an Indian blanket.
The second cryptid we'll be covering is the screaming kangaroo. First, I want to do one thing before we do this, though.
We're
Uh,
done.
Yeah, we're done with this.
Hey,
but
what is that right there?
I want you to look at this picture first.
What is that right there? Is he on Viagra?
That's not what it looks like.
I think it's exactly what it looks like. He's playing with himself.
Let's move on.
Is this a screaming kangaroo?
Let's move on. Yeah, this is a
Kangaroo scream.
Yeah, it's a screaming kangaroo. Look at this image. You want to start off by saying your word on the
Looks
image?
like he's screaming.
Yeah.
What's he doing to that poodle?
It's not a poodle.
Oh.
The second cryptid. What is that?
I don't know.
The second cryptid we'll be covering is the screaming kangaroo.
You told me that.
This is supposed to be an out of place animal. In other words, you know, a kangaroo in America is not actually its normal home.
It's not?
No.
You don't say.
Oddly enough.
Hey, you know what? I worked with a guy. He was an engineer named Rubber Dick.
That was not his name.
He was coming into Tuscumbia, and we called him his Rubber D is what we called him. But we was coming into Tuscumbia, and he at 2:00 in the morning he claimed he saw a kangaroo hop across the tracks. And then I made the mistake of laughing at him. He said, "Well, I don't think it was a wild kangaroo. I think somebody's pet escaped." And I said, "Appreciate you clearing that up for me there, buddy."
I think it was this.
Okay.
A scientist named Eberhardt was the person who came up with, who was, you know.
Eberhardt.
Yeah.
He wrote the rules of cryptozoology.
I don't know, maybe. No, he's like the guy who.
Oh, I thought you said he came up with them,
No.
making it whatever rule.
Hey, I don't remember. I wrote it down, but I don't know why I wrote it down. Every time a kangaroo is spotted, the local police calls the nearest zoo and asks if they've lost one. The strangest part of this fact is that no one ever reports a missing kangaroo. There's only been one documented case of a kangaroo escaping its enclosure in America, and that was in 1968. The strangest part about these kangaroo sightings is that they're never spotted again. It's as if they appear and vanish. So, I think we should go over the list of all kangaroos sighted in America.
All kangaroo sightings in America. I can't wait.
Yep. Here we go. In 1899, a kangaroo was spotted hopping around a woman's yard in Wisconsin. She reported this happening during a severe thunderstorm. It finally left the yard and was never spotted again.
Might have got struck by lightning.
It's a possibility.
Or a tornado took him out. That's probably how he got here. A tornado come through Australia and picked him up.
Well, you think a tornado Sharknado style took a kangaroo from Australia and slung him to America?
I don't know what a Sharknado is.
Sharknado?
No, I don't know him.
The movies?
I know what NATO is. North American Treaty Organization.
No, the movie.
Oh, no, I hadn't seen it.
Whatever. In 1900, in New Jersey, a man reported screams coming from his barn. When he investigated, he found a kangaroo that he estimated weighed 150 pounds. When he opened the barn door, the kangaroo bolted, leaving tracks almost 10 feet between hops.
Now, we got to discuss this one. How did the kangaroo get in the barn?
That's the question.
You don't know how it got in the barn? What was it screaming about?
That's what it does.
It might have had its toe in a rat trap, reckon.
He tracked the kangaroo to a swamp where he found multiple tracks in the mud.
Multiple?
Yeah.
Is it more than one kangaroo or just the same one doing all the tracks?
Just multiple. I'm dying, dude.
You're going to have to quit that crap.
Oh, man.
Ain't nothing to bark at. Ain't no squirrels in here.
In Pennsylvania, in 1907, several prominent citizens saw a kangaroo that moved extremely fast. A kangaroo can travel at 43 miles per hour.
43?
Yeah. Witnesses reported it was gray in color. Dogs were employed to track the animal. Then, when they trapped the creature, it gave the dog a strong kick and it allowed it to escape again.
Yeah, let this be a lesson. Never bring a dog to a kangaroo fight.
Very wise. In Ohio, in 1949, a bus driver saw a kangaroo-like creature hop across the road. He said it was about 5.5 feet tall and had brown hair. He watched it jump a high fence on the side of the road.
Was he driving a school bus? If he's driving a school bus, he's probably hallucinating after them kids getting on his nerves.
Not the kangaroo. The guy was driving the bus.
Oh, the kangaroo wasn't driving the bus? Thanks for clearing that one up.
From 1957 to 1967, there were numerous reports in Minnesota by people in town seeing kangaroos. Some witnesses claimed to see 2 kangaroos at the same time. Tracks were followed to a thick forest, and after 10 years, there was no more sightings.
So now there's 2 kangaroos. Huh? 2 kangaroos?
Yes.
Were they male and female, or were they, funny?
Don't call it funny, man. That's offensive.
What?
In town Chicago, Illinois, in 1974.
Chicago.
Police were called to someone's front porch where there was 5-foot kangaroo. The officers trapped it in an alley, but it managed to leap over them and escape. Soon after, a kangaroo was spotted in Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin.
He's getting around.
Police believe it was the same kangaroo they had attempted to capture.
I bet he don't live in Chicago anymore.
Mm-mm.
If he did, he'd get a cow busted in him in a drive-by. Unless he joined the gang. He could be there.
A year later in Illinois, a woman saw a kangaroo hop to the edge of the road where it watched her drive by before turning and
drive by.
What? Shut up. Before turning and hopping into a cornfield.
Kangaroos eat corn?
You want me to look that up?
No. I don't want to listen to Siri for 30 minutes.
In 1978, someone snapped a picture of a kangaroo standing on the road as they drove past. Although the man swears it was a real picture, most believe it was a hoax.
No.
But if you're going to do a hoax, why would you do a hoax on a kangaroo? Let's be real. In 1990 in Iowa, a woman heard her cows acting upset. She then saw a kangaroo hopping around the cows. The cries of the cows soon scared the kangaroo away, and it never was seen again.
You can't make this up.
And
kangaroos are scared of cows. Kangaroo can go 43 miles an hour, and he's scared of cows. Come on, man.
Okay, but if he's never seen a cow before, those cows are big, man. Animals are supposed to be scared of everything. That's the way they survive.
Well, you're an animal then.
Funny. In Wisconsin in 2005, a kangaroo was spotted and tracked to a barn. This time, the animal was captured and sent to the Henryville Zoo in Madison, Wisconsin. There had never been an explanation as to how this kangaroo arrived in the country. It remained in the zoo until its death in 2008. A statue of the animal was placed in the zoo.
That's offensive.
In Oklahoma...
Think about it. They're tearing down all the monuments in this country, and then they let them put up a statue of a kangaroo?
Yeah, but that kangaroo's special. How'd he get there?
He's special. He rode a short bus.
In Oklahoma in 2013, hunters videoed a kangaroo hopping across the field.
Are you barking at kangaroos?
I saw one. The kangaroo was believed to have been a pet that escaped the year before. The same year in the state of New York, a man managed to video a kangaroo standing by the road. A family reported they had lost their pet wallaby, and this could possibly be it.
So wait a minute now.
What?
If I'm hunting and I see a kangaroo, I'm going to shoot him.
That's because you're a messed up person.
Powder him with 30-06. That way nobody can laugh at me when I say I saw a kangaroo. I'll have his head above the fireplace.
That's because you're a messed up individual.
I'll say this was a very dangerous marsupial. It was either him or me.
You just gonna lie?
Yeah.
The people in these scripts I make don't lie. You're just gonna lie.
No,
Blame
they
them.
don't lie.
You call them all liars, and then you're like, "Oh, I'd lie. I'd lie in a heartbeat."
I might as well join the crowd.
Funny. In Oklahoma in 2013, hunters. I think I read this. Yeah, I did.
You already read the hunters.
Shh. The last sighting was in Wisconsin in 2019, just after daylight.
Wisconsin or Eastconsin?
What? Shut up, man. Police were called to investigate a kangaroo standing on a walkway bridge. By the time police arrived, the animal had disappeared, and no one reported a missing kangaroo.
So is it against the law for a kangaroo to use a walking trail? Why would the cops go there to arrest him unless he violated some law?
Well, you
Ain't this a free country? I mean, a
No.
kangaroo probably is an illegal immigrant. But come
Dad.
on. He might have had a green card.
Dad,
He might have been born in this country.
stop.
Did they ask him about his birth certificate? Check his
Dude.
driver's license?
Dude.
He probably keeps his wallet in his pouch. You know, kangaroo's got a pouch. Did they frisk him? Pat him down? Check his pouch for a firearm?
No.
Because a kangaroo can be sneaky, man.
How do you know this? You
They
don't
can
live in
hide stuff in their pouches.
You don't live in Australia. What do you
Well,
go
why
by?
do you think that one moved to Chicago so
They're-
he could be in a game?
Their pouches
He's
are
probably
made.
responsible for every drive-by in Chicago. That
Their
happens.
pouches are made for babies. What are you going by Looney Tunes logic?
The males have babies?
No, not. Do the males have pouches?
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
I don't know if they got green cards either.
Stop, Daddy. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey, do male kangaroos have pouches? Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Don't give me a my brain.
Do male kangaroos have pouches?
Hey Siri, do male kangaroos have peckers?
No, male kangaroos do not have pouches. Only
They
female
don't.
kangaroos have pouches, which they use to rear their young.
Rear them.
Yeah.
Ask Siri, does kangaroos eat corn?
Hey Siri. Do kangaroos eat corn? Hey Siri. Do kangaroos eat corn?
They eat mostly leaves and grass, although some also eat fruit, seeds, and fungi.
So no.
This answer is from encyclopedia.com.
What was he doing at a corn patch?
Hopping. Getting away from people.
Okay. All right. Are you done? Is it rating time?
It's race discussion time, yeah.
Discussion time. You know, the Iceman, I have a problem with Iceman.
What is your problem with the Iceman? Because it wasn't alive?
No, because this guy told me lies. He's not very credible.
Okay, well, he had a body.
He had a body that's made out of latex.
He didn't
You're
lie.
allergic to it.
He didn't lie. He forgot.
Yeah, he forgot. Right.
It happens.
Politicians forget a lot too, don't they? I don't know, man. I'm gonna give that. I mean, that rock ape's pretty convincing, but I don't know if this is one of them. But it could be. So I'm gonna go with a 4.
Whatever.
4.5.
Ooh. I
There you
like
go.
that. Can you
4.5.
Can I get a 5?
I'll give you a 5, but I'm gonna have to take one off the kangaroo because I'm not buying this kangaroo crap.
Okay, it's not a trading system.
The kangaroo's a 1.
What?
Well, I've got this one figured out. You know?
Go ahead.
Okay. You've got an illegal kangaroo in your house and it escapes.
Stop saying illegal like that.
No, let's say you imported a kangaroo in the country illegally
Okay.
and you got it in your house and it escapes, right?
Yeah.
And the cops come and say, "Oh, there's a kangaroo here. Whose is it?" And Timmy says, "Oh, it's mine." "Well, where's your license for it?" "I don't have one." "Well, here's your 5 years in jail." You ain't gonna admit that was your kangaroo. Well, I ain't never seen no kangaroo in my life.
So your kangaroo that you got screams constantly, just constantly screams in anguish.
Well, he was screaming because he had his toe in a rat trap or he's locked in the barn.
I love how you just come up with these theories.
See,
No evidence.
You don't answer my questions.
What about in the tracks? They didn't have a mouse trap on his foot in the tracks.
He might have slung it off by then.
Okay, buddy.
But the problem is, you can't even tell me how he got in the barn.
He hopped.
Well, he said they had to open the door. Can this kangaroo open doors?
Apparently, you've seen Jurassic Park. Velociraptors can do it.
They're not even real.
Okay, but they could do it.
You believe everything you see on TV?
I know that.
The truth secret.
No, I know they're not. The movie isn't real, but the facts are.
The facts are.
The facts. Those are real velociraptors. That's what they look like. And they did that.
Right. Yeah. And velociraptors weren't 5 foot long, count the tail. They were 9 foot tall.
Okay, but like they could open doors.
They didn't even have doors back then.
Okay, that's what I don't get about that. Then how, did the director know that they did it if they didn't have doors back then? It's because they were smart.
No.
Scientists know that velociraptors
Maybe the rhinoceroses just taught them.
I'm ending the episode. I'm ending it here. That's it. That's the